Let's talk about Ubisoft, everybody. Ubisoft is having a little bit of trouble right now. Just a little teensy bit of trouble.
I feel like we called it at some point.
We were slowly calling it like bit by bit.
Story background here from pulling this from Kotaku. Last week, an emergency call was taking place with Ubisoft to reveal that their company's 2022 sales had fallen well below expectations and that it would take drastic measures going forward, including canceling 3 more games, which brings 3 more unannounced games, which brings it to a total of around 7 games that they've canceled in the last several years. They also announced that they're delaying Skull and Bones a few months yet again, and that they're cutting $215 million in costs for the next 2 years, with some of the savings coming from a smaller headcount at the over 20,000 person publisher. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot, however you pronounce his name, said, "Today more than ever, I need your full energy and commitment to ensure we get back on the path to success."
Damn, laying
Looking
that
at his
down.
team. He's also asking that each of you be especially careful and strategic with your spending and initiatives to ensure we're being as efficient and lean as possible. So there's a lot of things that they're working on coming in the future that we know of are still coming, such as Skull and Bones, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, and Assassin's Creed Mirage, as well as the other Assassin's Creed games that were announced last year.
Beyond Good and Evil.
We don't know about that one. I don't know if that's. I can't confidently say if that one's
Prince of
actually
Persia
coming or not.
remake.
That might have been
that
canceled
they
at this
fucking
point.
keep pushing back, and I'm mad about.
Yeah, Prince of Persia remake, definitely. So it's interesting. Like, we are at a weird crossroads here with Ubisoft where they haven't had much success as of late. They said that, last year they brought out Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. That was performed less than they expected. And then Just Dance 2023, which, it's Just Dance. There's an audience there, and it's
What
not
else
going
did
to change.
Is that the only thing they came out with last year?
Yeah, apparently.
I know
Just
they came out.
Dance? Mario plus Rabbids?
Yeah. Wow.
Focus.
I mean, they also came
Skull
out
Bones
with
got
the
delayed.
last
Yeah.
DLC for Assassin's Creed Valhalla,
Right.
which I'm assuming did well from what I've heard. I'm shocked that they didn't come out with anything else.
Yeah, Skull and Bones is supposed to be their big
The
hitter.
big hitter.
Didn't
That
come
got
out.
pushed, so...
Well, I mean, we looked at it. I'm sure people, like the community is like, this does not look fun.
They had a good foundation. They had Black Flag. They should have just take that, rename it, and put it into a different game, make the world bigger.
think-
That's all they had to do.
I forget, I think we watched something about what was going on, and like they did switch heads and stuff like
Well,
that.
they like redirected the game at one point and basically like started from scratch almost. Like,
Seriously?
yeah, they had a point where they were going down one path and they pivoted quite a bit and basically more or less restarted internally the game because it's changed a lot from what it used to be, and it still seems like it's still kind of in the same vein, but I think it was gonna be more of like an MMO style game at one point, and now it's more of just like an action adventure game where you're like your player is a ship. And
That's so stupid.
And you can get off your ship. You can only get off your ship at certain points. You can't get off your ship on an island.
yeah.
And you can't sword fight. So it's just a weird. It's
so
a weird,
bad.
weird
So
state.
bad.
But they just released a new game preview of Skull and Bones, and I watched like a little tiny bit of it. Didn't watch a lot of it because it was just at the end of the day, it was kind of
Like
it felt very empty. Like it didn't feel very, very full of life.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt with the last couple of gameplay previews they showcased there. It just doesn't. It seems misdirected, and that's what really sucks about that game. Because I wanted it to be such a good game, and it's just not going the path that I would hope it would go. Like I kind of hoped it would be more of a modern, better looking Skull or a Sea of Thieves almost. Where it's like I can still do this stuff in Sea of Thieves, but have some of like Ubisoft's like open world gameplay mechanics, because like I feel like one thing that Sea of Thieves did a good job with was like obviously the sailing, the exploration, all that stuff, but it wasn't deep enough. Like once you got off the island, started going around exploring, it's like you find some chests and that you fight some skeletons and that's about it. But I feel like Ubisoft could have done a good job with like, little side quests on different islands and like put all that in there. But instead, you don't get off your island. You just like sail around.
Don't get off your boat. My thing is, I really thought this was just going to be a Black Flag game. Just like ships, you're a pirate, you raid ships, you hunt for treasure, you hunt down animals, you fight these big, massive ships that are like the police or whatever. Can't remember what they're called, the British Army or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was picturing that. But then what I got, once I saw that, I was just like, I'm done. I'm not looking up anything about this game. It's not on my radar anymore. I actually totally forgot about it until I saw a TikTok about it recently. Ubisoft delaying all these games. One of the unannounced games supposedly was another Watch Dogs, which I'm a little disappointed in.
Dang, Watch Dogs got.
They were supposed to make another Watch Dogs, and it got.
I'm kind of glad after the Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah, Watch Dogs. That was disappointing.
That was pretty bad.
disappointing.
That had so much potential.
So much.
Well, the first one had a lot of potential too.
Yeah.
But I just felt like that one and the Division have been kind of. Ugh.
Well, it seems like Ubisoft has a trend of that. They show something that you're like, oh man, this is going to be the next tier of gaming right here. This is going to be amazing. And then when the game comes out, it's just shit.
Well, if you're not making a single player story, you're basically going to have shit because they're trying to monetize all these things as games as a service, which are all these games basically. And it's just, we got to like Watch Dogs and like the Division, like you got to put stuff, you got to hold things back. You know, you just got to put enough out there where everyone's like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then it's like, well, now we're going to sell you some shit. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to do that now because like that's just what it is. This is what Ubisoft has become outside of Assassin's Creed. Which
Well, they're still doing that in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
They fucking...
Yeah, they put that stuff in there, and this is what's happening. We said these games are too big. They're trying to find a way to monetize it, and this has just been their game plan for the past, I don't know how many, 5-10 years now? At least 5.
I'm very curious on how this is going to affect their other stuff for entertainment-wise, like their TV shows they're supposed to come out with. They're supposed to come out with an Assassin's Creed TV show for Netflix.
Which that one just lost its creative lead.
Did it?
Or yeah, I think somebody on that, some big person on that just left.
Oh, God dang it.
Yeah, they lost their showrunner.
They lost the showrunner. Okay, well, all right.
There goes
Ubisoft,
that.
Just,
There goes that.
You could easily remake
I don't think
Splinter
it's
Cell.
Ubisoft, technically.
Well, no.
for
it's
on that
not.
part.
But I'm just curious, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm diving way too deep. I'm upset that this is happening because I grew up with Ubisoft going throughout the years with Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell, and all that. And I want to see them thrive, but now they're just not.
To crash and burn.
Crashing and burning.
Well, you know, they came out and they're like, we still want to do NFTs. It's like,
They did commit to that.
no, bro, you know what's happened recently. Like, that is non existent anymore. Like, everyone's already done with
No,
that.
it's not. Donald Trump just came out with his.
Okay, very
No,
true.
they were
Very
successful, yeah.
Yeah,
Very true.
Supposedly they were very successful.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to cards, sure, but not video. Like, don't put NFTs in video games.
I still feel bad for that guy at Southwest trying to promote his game, and it was all NFT.
Oh my gosh. We saw a few of those.
Yeah,
Like, it was an MMO RPG.
MMO, yeah, RPG, the NFTs, and I'm like, okay, bud.
Strap in for 6 months from now when it's going to be down the hill.
Sorry.
Yeah, so Ubisoft is next year they're slated to bring out Skull and Bones, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and the Avatar Frontiers of Pandora game. That one's supposed to come out, I think, in March. The Frontiers of Pandora. I feel like that's probably going to get pushed back a little bit.
That's
I
a
feel like,
mobile game.
No, that's a full. That's
full?
made by Division.
Oh.
That's massive. That's Massive's next game.
Which one's the mobile game that was?
It was
that's
another
title.
Yeah.
but I don't remember the name of that one. But
I just read an
it's
article
different.
like 2 minutes ago when I was looking through my phone. They're planning on this Assassin's Creed Mirage going back to its roots, back to early day of Assassin's Creed. So I am super stoked for that.
Yeah, I heard it's a much smaller open world that's going to be very dense, but like much smaller in focus, which I'm looking forward to. So I hope they hold true to that and they deliver on that because that would be a blast.
Yes, it would be.
And you get to play as Bassam, so that's cool too.
Yeah. Anyways,
but yeah, that's Frontiers of Pandora is the one that's being made by I think it's called Massive,
Massive.
or whatever the group is that did Division, but they've been working on this and it's like super high graphics, super open. It's gonna have some co-op experiences in there. The early stuff that they showcased, I think they showed at the Game Awards a couple years ago, looked really good. They haven't shown much about it since then.
No, they haven't.
It's supposed to still come out this year.
I have a feeling it's going to be the same way with Beyond Good and Evil and Skull and Bones. It's just going to keep delayed and delayed.
You know, I actually think this is a good thing, and I wish this happened to more companies because, you know, this is like a trend people want to follow. I mean, good. They need to restructure. They need to look at what they're doing, and if they can make smaller, more intimate games like God of War, like I think they'll have something there.
What, like just focus in on one IP and just like...
Well, no, not exactly. Just their games are huge, and it takes like a freaking small town to make these games, and it's just
I
like,
see.
bro,
Okay.
you don't need anything gigantic. Like they keep making these massive open world games with like, we were talking about Valhalla. It's like over 100 hours with the DLC and stuff. It's like, do we really need that? Like, give me a 40, 50-hour game.
I really enjoyed Valhalla.
I mean, I get it. But
Yeah.
for me, like, I love those games too, but they're like, it's going to take you 60 hours to complete this. I'm like, I don't know if I want to.
Yeah, true. I guess so. For the, like,
I played so many hours of that game, and I was like, I'm not even close to halfway. I'm just kind
It's
of
definitely going to make it a lot more of a hump to get over if you say like Death Stranding, for example. I decided I'm not going to finish that game because I knew it was a 60-hour experience to get through the story.
okay.
And I was like, okay, that's going to be a lot harder for me to commit to it, knowing that that's where I'm going. Yakuza Like a Dragon, somehow I did play it, put in 45 hours in that game. But even that game, I got to a point where there was like a moment where it's just like, hey, you've been grinding through this game forever. Now go through 20 floors of bad guys and don't like stop doing it. And then let's see if you still continue to play after that. And I was like, no, we
don't want you to
I'm
play
not doing
anymore.
20 floors of bad guys. Like, this is not going to happen. So there's like definitely like a point where it's just like, when do you decide to like cut it off and just like, call it a day? And Valhalla was definitely a long one, but somehow it's just that was a good something about that game. It was I enjoyed it. Like, I had a blast playing through that. But I think it was too big. It was way too big. I wanted to try Far Cry 6, and I have it, but I haven't gone into it. But I wanted to appreciate
I tried it
try
for
that, but
less
it
than an
also
hour.
I think was just too big.
I just felt like it just lacks substance.
Yeah.
Like they try to get you to be emotionally attached to these characters in like 5 seconds, and there's like no build up. There's nothing. They don't do it, and there's a way you can do it to make it like, oh yeah, I'm invested like really quickly after meeting these characters. But I mean, it's just a slap, paste, throw a coat of paint on it, and ship it out the door.
Ship it out the door.
I think they could definitely, if they look at, because they're trying all these live service situations where it's like, hey, let's throw Ghost Recon Breakpoint, let's throw microtransactions in here, let's throw level upgrades in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, let's throw all these shops into paid games. Whereas like you have PlayStation over here, who yes, they have a big market of like hardware sales that like helps them out and stuff like that. The PlayStation games, like specifically the studios, like they're putting out quality single player experiences with God of War Ragnarok, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, all these different like game experiences that have no bullshit. They're open worlds, some are open worlds, but like they do such a good job at balancing the difference between like, okay, you can have a big open world and put a lot of shit into it, but not get too carried away where you lose out on these other aspects of the story.
I think that has to do with that culture. Like that's a Japanese company, right?
No, Sucker Punch is based out of
not Sucker
California.
Punch. I'm talking
Talking
about
about
PlayStation.
Sony in general.
Oh,
It's only
yeah.
PlayStation.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I feel like the way that they do business is different from. We have a lot of European and American companies who are like all about this type of organizing their
Ubisoft is
company.
French.
They're European.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, European and U.S. companies.
Okay, I gotcha.
And
gotcha.
I remember watching a video of this guy, and they were saying that this is where kind of all this monetization came from in video games. Was this guy kind of laying out how you should monetize mobile games, and then from that, I think a lot of people got on board with that, and that kind of spread throughout the industry. And those people are like, we need to do this. It works. It makes money. Let's just make money. And kind of like what we're seeing with D&D right now, but they just want to make more money because they think they're under monetized. Like everyone is just, I feel like they're so greedy. Like I think this is a good thing. There should be ups and downs. You cancel games, you restructure things, you try to make the most money as possible. But I feel like that they just try to go to the very thin line at the edge of the table to be like, how much money can we make before we tip over the edge? And that's where we're at right now.
Find that line so they
Yeah.
don't go across it next time.
Yeah, because they just want to push. Like, okay, we just want to get as
See how
much
far
money as
they can
possible.
go.
I mean, part of it is, at least in America, it's the law, right? You have to make money for your investors and stuff.
Yeah,
So
If you're public, yeah.
yeah, if you're public,
trying
And so
to milk the cow as much as possible.
yeah, and there's no regard to like, oh, we actually creating good product. Oh, we actually creating good rapport with our fans and our community and the people who are paying us money. Like, I feel like there's no respect in some companies towards the people who are actually paying for these goods. And
Yeah.
for some reason, we keep giving them money, or some people keep giving them money, and they just keep doing the same old thing. And finally, somebody is getting hit with something.
Yeah.
Because it's not working.
I don't know what the answer is. I'm trying to think. I mean, I know what the answer is. I think it's just
Don't support these people.
focus. Well, yeah, I mean, but that's well.
It starts with us,
But I don't want
technically.
them to go away. You know. That's
No, I
the
don't
thing
want them
is
to
I
go
don't want them
either.
to like go under. So if we
Yeah.
stop supporting them, then they're not gonna be around.
But if we keep supporting
But-
them, they're going to keep doing the same thing.
Yeah. But I think being vocal about it on the internet is a good response.
Right.
I mean, we've seen EA many times get redirect because of public outcry and stuff like that. So, and they seem to have that. I feel like other than like Battlefield 2042 coming out with a poor launch and stuff like that, they haven't been under scrutiny as much as they used to. I feel like maybe I'm just making stuff up, but I feel like it's like the public has not been flaming them as much as they used
Oh,
to.
because Battlefield's dead.
Well, I mean, I think they've also been like changing things a little bit. I mean, E3
Yeah.
Unbound came out.
It's true. It's
Wasn't
true.
a bad game. You know, they did a good job with that. They fixed Battlefield now mostly, and it's like it got on the right path. They started doing
Well, I
these
mean, do
Star
people
Wars
care?
single player
That's the
experiences.
thing.
You
Yeah.
know that
Yeah.
people didn't have that before, and they've been good. Star Wars Squadrons was good. Jedi or Fallen Order was good. Hopefully, Jedi Survivor is good. You know, so they brought out It Takes Two, phenomenal game. You know, so it's like they're doing some interesting. They've made some interesting choices in recent years that I think has given them a little bit more positivity. Whereas Ubisoft,
They've gained,
is
they've
doing the
garnered
same.
some.
Yeah, they've
positive.
garnered some positive light, and I think Ubisoft just needs to sit down and just focus on like, what do people really care about with our games? And it's like, yes, they love open worlds, yes, they love exploring stuff, but no, they don't like paying a bunch of shit and being like, just to like ask for money left and right in a game that you
Yeah.
spent $70 on.
Yeah.
That's the most annoying part.
Like, pull that out. Give me a little bit of a better story. It doesn't have to be an amazing story because, I mean, let's be honest, like they've never really had like great stories in a while.
Right.
But there's a lot of stuff to get invested into in their stories that makes it kind of interesting. Like even Ghost Recon Breakpoint, it's like as much as that story was shit, I still kind of enjoyed reading some of the shit that was in there. It wasn't great.
read
but it's
stuff?
Like I read some
Brett
stuff.
reads
in
stuff
there.
all the time.
I read stuff all the time.
Sitting there
I'm
playing
like-
Evil West, and it reads it to you, and Brett's already reading it. I'm like, come on, Brett.
I read all the stuff in Gotham Knights. Every single
my
thing
God.
that popped up.
You should make lore videos, Brett.
I know I should. Yeah.
Good
I
day.
can't remember enough stuff. But yeah, I'm excited for this Avatar game. I hope they stop I feel like they're trying to do a lot of different things. They need to focus. They really need to sit down and focus. They have so many studios in so many places. And I think they did that a little bit with Assassin's Creed.
They're like Disney of the video games. They're
Yeah.
just like, oh, we got all these things, but we're really shitty at making things. We just
Yeah.
want to make money, lots of money.
Yeah.
Fuck
Like they almost
Disney.
got too big. And then now they're like trying to figure out what to do now.
Yeah. Although the pandemic was a bad thing, it opens up the ability for, these companies, everyone's suffering because people aren't spending money. Money ain't coming in like it used to. We have the chance to really make a change by not spending our money on some of these companies who we think are doing not the best job. So it's going to affect them now more than ever. So if we just keep dishing out money and just keep buying the same old things, like it's just going to stay the same. Thank goodness Ubisoft is finally going to have to change.
Yeah.
They just have to.
Give us that Splinter Cell, y'all.
I'm
That's
telling
what we're
man,
waiting
like
on.
how much
Yeah.
money would they?
You cancel Splinter Cell VR. Just give us a single player single player Splinter Cell experience. It's got that co-op piece. That's really fun.
Yep.
And then
That would be
just-
amazing.
Just serve it up, you know?
Okay, so who created the Splinter Cells or the Splinter Cell? Like there was a government agency trained those people. Why can't you just make a game about you and a friend training?
They could
and
easily.
then you go out into
Yeah.
the world and do espionage
They
stuff.
can easily
How-
reboot that like God of War and just
You don't need
a soft reboot and just
Sam
fucking-
Fisher.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have the OG fans bitch about it.
I would too, but still, like, you give me a good game, but I'm gonna stop.
Yeah. I would eat that up. I mean, especially the Hitman franchise, like having a nice little like comeback a little bit.
Yep.
Like that game has like a cult following that like you get so many people that jump in on this thing if you just do a really good job at that. I mean, like you're talking about Plague Tale earlier, like there's an audience for stealth out there, and I think this is something that would really hype people up. But don't make me buy a bunch of cosmetics for my Sam Fisher, you know.
Yeah,
You
Just
can
give
have
me-
rainbow lights on your night vision. That's what it's going to turn into.
There you go.
Get this pistol that shoots unicorns. Yay.
That would be a nightmare. But Stallion.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh my god. So yeah, Ubisoft is they're having some trouble here, but I think this is a moment for them to really look deep and hard at what they're doing. I mean, they're starting to make a bunch of cuts, and hopefully that means they get focused and can come out guns a-blazing in the future with solid, like well-designed, focused game experiences, and not a bunch of stuff that's like free to play this and open world this thing and all these things that are all the same type of thing that they're just like with new names on them. So we'll see what happens. I'm talking about the Heartland game, and then that Ghost Recon Frontlines that they canceled, and what was that other game that they announced that was like Overwatch for Ghost Recon? It was like that arena shooter.
Arena shooter.
It wasn't Ghost
I thought
Recon. It was
Frontlines.
Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six.
Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
What was it called? They had all the different types of X Defiant.
X
Oh,
Defiant.
gosh.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So
stupid.
Free to play, fast paced arena shooter.
Who asked for that? Nobody.
Everyone did.
Not even Ubisoft players.
Yeah, when's that
What does
game
the
coming
world
out?
need?
Anyway, Ubisoft, that is, they're coming down the pipeline with some new stuff, but hopefully they can stay afloat and not have to cancel 3 more games next time we talk about them.
I don't know. Maybe we should just crash and burn, and then another game company will just buy all their property.
And THQ Nordic will come in there and buy all their IP.
Yes.
Or Tencent.
Or Tencent, yeah.
10 cent.
No,
2
no.
10 cent.
They already own 49% apparently. So.
Oh boy.